Welcome to The Weighted Mind, where we lift more than just weights. We lift each other up. This is a space where fitness and mental health collide.
From gym struggles to life challenges, we're here to talk about the real stuff. The highs, the lows, everything in between. No filters, no fluff, no BS, just honest conversations about what it takes to build both a strong mind and a strong body.
So whether you're hitting the gym or just need a mental reset, you're in the right place. All right, let's get into it. So,
I'm Ty.
I'm Dev.
We're going to get right into it. So our topics today, we're going to talk about our personal journey into fitness, kind of how we started, how we got into it, and how it kind of became a part of our lives today. Social media's effect on body image and how we see ourselves and how we compare ourselves to what we see online. Overcoming gym anxiety, which is a huge thing. And the power of routine in maintaining both mental stability and in terms of your motivation and discipline to the gym. So we'll kick it off with our personal fitness journey. Fire away.
So growing up, I always played sports, wasn't the most athletic kid. I had a couple extra pounds on me, as like every kid does. Still played sports, went to the gym like casually, just never took it seriously. When I started my job in law enforcement, I saw like a lot of people, they were like bigger, like stronger, that kind of thing, and realized like I should probably get into doing something. Didn't really know where to start, didn't really know what to do. So I ended up getting help from someone, went to like a super calorie deficit, did it for a year, like social events. I didn't eat anything else except what was like on my strict meal plan. Ended up getting to like a super unhealthy weight, super like skinny, just like no muscle on me.
Like blow away in the wind type of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And for being like 6'3", it's like not a good look. I think I got down to like 160 pounds.
And the wind didn't carry you away.
Yeah, no. I'm still here. So after that, I just kind of like realized I needed change. I started taking it more seriously, just started eating normally again. And through help of others and like connecting with other people, like just kind of spiraled into more. And as I took it seriously, the more people I talked to, the more videos I watched, the more influencers I looked at. Like it's just all about balance, man. Like,
for sure.
It's always been like that. And yeah, so that's kind of just where I started. Nothing crazy, but
no,
just every single day.
Yes, that's all you do anymore.
Caffeine addiction and just the gym, right?
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Yeah,
I guess I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I was obviously still a bigger kid. Grew up playing all different types of sports, but really leaned into football. That was kind of where my strength was, but despised the gym.
Yeah.
That was obviously a huge thing that they pushed between, Olympic lifting and other things. And I couldn't get behind it. I had buddies of mine that were going to the gym all the time. Hey man, come out. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. So, played football through high school, played like OVFL, like that type of football. And then went on to university, played football there too. And then between injuries and kind of like falling out of love with the game, I stepped away from it, and I just went like completely downhill.
Okay.
You go from this like strict regime of like, practice, at this time every day and meals with the team and playbook study and film watch and all this other shit. And then just to have that gone.
Yeah.
Because it was basically like a 10-month season for me. It was high school football from like, August for training till November. You basically have December, January off. And then like the Spears OVFL picks up in February with off-field training.
Okay,
so now that wasn't part of my life anymore, I didn't know what the hell to do.
Yeah.
There was no fitness. I still played hockey here and there, but like not a lot. So I took a complete nosedive, just eating whatever I wanted to, drinking like crazy, like everybody does in college.
We've all been there, yeah. Definitely.
And I went completely downhill. And like I was a great student, but I ended up putting on academic probation.
Yeah.
It was just a mess. And I think in that I had people reach out, family especially, where it's like, hey man, like what's going on with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I decided that I needed to do something to better myself. In the first place, my went to was the gym, because I'm like, you know what? I had this butting heads relationship with the gym. Maybe if I did my own research and did stuff that I liked or that I thought I would like, it would be a little bit better. So I said, you kind of look into the bodybuilding and, your Schwarzenegger from movies and, your Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff, like with those big oversized muscular characters. Like, oh, that's kind of cool, right? So did a bit of research, started to get into it. Did a lot of bodybuilding trainings. I didn't really know anything else. And then kind of started to see the changes in myself.
Okay.
How I felt, how I looked, which also helped how I felt. And then I just kind of fell in love with that process, having that structure again, like I used to when I played football, and like And I've just carried that through ever since. The whole time I've wanted to be a police officer. Like I still work in law enforcement.
Yeah, yeah.
And knowing that I needed to be in good shape. Because I mean, you see some of these cops and it's like, okay, man, I get it.
Yeah.
But like this, like I didn't want to be like that.
Yeah. And with the line of work too, you get into situations where you kind of need to be in like better shape.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you have to be an Olympian, but like at least to go home safe.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day. So I kind of leaned into that as well, which also helped my motivation turn into discipline, which is the topic for later. And I've just kind of ran that ever since, and then just got really heavy into the bodybuilding stuff, and I, liked looking good and liked bettering myself. And I found that the gym especially is that one constant in my life that never changed.
Yeah.
Where it didn't matter what I was doing during that day, what happened during that day, the gym was always there, and I was able to just fall in love with the process of shutting my brain off and going in there, and that has just carried me to where I am now.
That's awesome. Would you say did you have anyone help you through it all, or was it just kind of social media presence?
You have buddies that go to the gym and stuff like that. Like I had a couple buddies that brought me to the gym, and you start trying to get into it. Same way I got into golf, where it's just like I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world, and I get out there and now I think I'm Bryson DeChambeau.
Like when you hit 27, you just pick up golf.
100%, yes, absolutely. You kind of hit that point in your life where this is what I'm doing now because this is the only thing that doesn't hurt my knees and back.
Yeah, exactly.
So I had friends that kind of got me into it, and you kind of outgrow them, whatever, when you start kind of getting into your own rhythm. And but social media was huge. I mean, I grew up on, I was a huge superhero fan, still a big superhero fan. So seeing,
on that,
your Captain Americas, and I mean, even Spider-Man, who was this skinny kid but still had some muscle. I just always had that in my mind that I'm that's a cool look. People respect them, people like them. That's good. And it wasn't just because of the physique aspect.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things that I grew up with that cartoon image and stuff. And then, when you get into the bodybuilding stuff, you're like, in my case, Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman and guys like that. And even today with Chris Bumstead, where it's you just see these guys and, you want to be like them.
Yeah.
Because they look great and they talk great and they're open about what's going on in their lives. And you just relate a lot to them. Mm-hmm. Whereas the people in my family, I'm they go to the gym and stuff like that, but not to that extent.
Yeah. It's not
to the extent that I want.
Yeah. It's not the commitment that you have to the gym and stuff.
No, of course. And in case of, in that situation, you kind of have to, if you build it up from yourself, when you get to a certain point, then you can start connecting to other people like you and me, where it's just I don't know who the hell you were.
Yeah.
I saw you at the gym. I'm hey, this guy's got that same work ethic as me, the same intensity. And I'm that's the person you want to associate yourself with, because that's just going to carry on your motivation or your discipline on days where you don't want to fucking go.
And I think that's the biggest thing too with me and you. We both talked about it before. We both never liked having gym partners. We would go there. It'd be our 2 hours to be on by ourselves, forget about everything else in the world. But like you said, the same intensity, the same drive, the same everything. Ever since we started working out, and it's been 2-3 weeks maybe, just everything has just gotten more improved. I find the workouts are better, the just talking in general is better.
Yeah, I just find you get to stay in it a bit more. And again, I love working out by myself, throwing the headphones on, hoodie up, and just leave me the hell alone. But I mean, the days where I'm not really feeling going.
Yeah.
Or I'm not pushing myself as hard during the set, because who the heck is gonna critique me otherwise? Who's gonna be busting my balls if I stop at 8 reps?
Yeah.
And more often than not, if you have some discipline, you can push yourself through that. But I mean, having a good training partner is massive for that, because again, it's if I wake up one morning and I'm I don't want to go to the gym today.
Yeah.
And then I'm man, I'm meeting Dev at 9:30 though, and he's gonna yell at me if I
don't
show
up.
Parking lot, he's already in the parking lot, and he's got 350 milligrams of caffeine running through his system. I can't tell him I'm not coming.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Something like that is good, especially on days where again you don't feel like it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that I guess we can talk about it right now, just the whole motivation versus discipline thing.
Yeah.
Everyone has the motivation to go to the gym. They say they're starting, whether it's a new year, whether it's a new month, new week, whatever.
3 o'clock in the morning watching 6-pack shortcuts.
Whatever it is, whatever your motivation is. Sure, you can have all that motivation, but what are you gonna do when it's too cold outside?
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do when it's snowy? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna still be that focused on your goals that you're still gonna go to the gym, or are you gonna do something at home?
Of course, and I think that's the huge thing, where it's anybody can have motivation to do anything.
Yeah.
If you're down on your luck, or you're behind on work projects, or you're trying to go for a promo, or even the gym case where it's I'm trying to better myself.
Yeah.
There'll be a small window of just the absolute peak of motivation.
Yeah.
Where it's this is what I'm doing today. I'm going to lock in. We're going to do all this stuff. And then again, life happens.
Yeah, 100%.
Again, whether it's work stress or family stress or things like that, or again, it's days where you just don't feel like it, or it's crappy outside, or you go to the gym, it's the gym's busy, or it's it's already too late, or things like that. And I think that's when you lose that motivation, which is when, if you do it enough, that's when that discipline will start to take over.
Yeah.
Because it's a huge difference. Because in discipline's case, you will still do what you need to do or what you want to do, even when you don't want to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the big thing for discipline.
Yeah. And like life happens too. Like,
Of course.
it's obviously for me and you, it's an escape, and like not for everyone. And like you kind of just get to a point, like you said, with like the discipline where you just like, you have to do it.
Yep.
So even if you like go for like 5 minutes, you have a terrible 5 minutes or like whatever, at least you did something.
And that's my thought process, because I've gone into the gym. Don't get me wrong, I love the gym. It's my favorite place to be.
Yeah.
Outside of Disney World. But I've had days where I don't want to go, still know I have to get there, whether it's because I got to check in on Monday with my coach or things like that. I could have a really crappy workout.
Yeah.
I go in there, my head's not in it, music's not hitting, not feeling it in my muscles and stuff like that. And then I leave the gym and I'm like, man, that was such a shitty workout. I promise you that at 6 p.m. that night, you're going to go, you know what though?
Yeah.
I had a crappy day.
Yeah.
But I still went to the gym. I still tried to better myself. And that kind of builds into, your next day.
Yeah.
Your next couple of days.
And even like you said, like the week even. Like you can look back on the week and be like, wow, I went to the gym every single day. This, and this happened. But at least I could stay consistent with like my goals for like fitness and everything. Right?
And that's really good with even just like in that internal, that self-development.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know what, man, like life smacked me in the mouth, but I still did things that I need to do.
Yeah.
And that could be applied to anything.
Oh, for sure.
And it's work related, family related, gym related, whatever, your fitness goals, your sports, whatever the case is, you having that discipline to keep going is going to help you more long-term than you think.
Yeah.
Because you'll look back on those shitty days.
Yeah. And we see it with like social media posting too and everything. Like at the beginning, you're motivated. Like you just want to get everything out there. Like you want to like find your thing. But when things get hard, like say you're not getting a ton of views, you're not getting a ton of likes, whatever it is, that's when you got to stay disciplined and like keep on the like, know you're like going down the right road and eventually everything's going to work out for you. But like people give up when they like get 5 likes on a video or
of
like
course.
5 likes on whatever.
Yeah. And I know you and I have both experienced that, and any other people that I've talked to that are like content creators, where it's like, yeah, you're not going to get, not all your videos are going to be these grand slams.
No.
It's sometimes you can hit a single.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Just get on base.
Yeah. Get
yourself out there, get your name out there, do whatever it is you got to do that you like to do. Again, with content creation, it's that discipline to go, you know what? Yep, this video didn't do well. That's okay, because maybe my next one will do better. Yeah. The next one might not do better.
Yeah.
But you got to keep at it, or else you're going to keep thinking to yourself, oh man, what would have happened if I would have kept posting, right?
And it's like a video like we went back to before, like Mr. Beast, he was on like a podcast one time, and he said like your first 10 videos aren't going to go viral. Your first 10, whatever you do, it's not going to work.
Of course.
But that's what, like, people give up after the first 10, but like you could post 99, the 100th could hit. And
that's the thing, you'll never know.
Yeah.
And even at that, you can't go into something like that, even the gym, with that expectation that you're going to go in there and be like, yeah, I'm going to walk in here, I'm going to walk out of here with 22-inch arms and a 6-pack, and I'm going to be able to run a marathon. It's not how it works.
No.
Very similar to content creation, where it's like you got to stick to it. Because if you go into everything like that, like expecting to hit that grand slam, to get 100,000 views, to get all these likes, all these followers, you go in with that expectation, you're either going to do it once, and then that's what you expect for every other thing you do, or you're going to strike out. Yeah. And you're going to get down on yourself. Yeah. And it's one of those things, you need to have that balance. Oh, for sure. And that's like with a lot of social media too. Like you can go on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you use, and like you see these content creators, they're like blowing up from, and like you could post the same thing and it just doesn't work. Yep. But that's where like the effects of social media come in, where you're like, you see someone doing great, like behind a screen, but they're showing what they want to show you. Of course. So like, yeah, like anyone can post like a workout video. You can use the same thing, everything, but like they worked to get there. They built their following, like they've made their mistakes. But they kept at it. And like, that's where social media, like nowadays, as much as it's great to get like a platform out, as much as it's great to get content out, it has like a really negative effect as well, because it gets people down on it as well. Of course. So like the fitness aspect, for example, like you see these guys, like people me and you look up to, like Chris Bumstead, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman. Growing up, you're like, I want to look like that. Of course. But like, you're never going to look like that. Super unrealistic. Yeah. Your goal, unless you're like doing what these guys do, and like their life, like they're committed to it. Well, and that's for most of them, at least at the time, that's all they do. I know they have their own brand and stuff like that. I mean, like Bumstead's got 7,000 things going on. And he's probably rocking it as far as I know. Yeah. But yeah, like that is all they do. Like, you know, your competitive bodybuilders, or your Mr. Olympia guys, or your full-time content creators. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Like, but they would have started off the same way, you know, posting these videos that are, you know, you're in that land of 200 view block on TikTok, where it's like, here's my 200 views. You're never getting another one. Yeah. And you just keep at it.
Yeah.
But then in terms of comparison, like comparison's a thief of joy.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I've been saying that forever, where it's like, if you're going to keep comparing yourself to other people, you're never going to find joy in the success that you do end up having.
Yeah.
As small as it may be. Like if I post a TikTok and it gets 10,000 views, that is incredible to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, holy crap, like 10,000 people watch this thing that I threw together for fun while still trying to get a good message out.
Yeah.
And some of these other people, it's like, yeah, you're not gonna compare. You shouldn't compare yourself to people who are having all of these views or all of these likes and all this success, because then you're never going to be happy with what you're doing.
And that's the thing, like when I started, like you pushed me to do the content creation as well. Cause like, yeah, we'd film our workouts and you're like, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And initially I'm like, no, like that's your thing. Like, I don't want to do it, but like you pushed me to do it. So when I posted my first video, I think I got like 60 views and like 2 likes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is never going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like this will never work out. Like Ty's got like 2,000 views, like 10,000 likes, whatever. But I like really like, I spoke to myself and I'm like, look, you like stop comparing yourself to him. Like he's been doing it for like not way longer than you.
No, but like at least
long enough to like know kind of like what you're doing, get like the editing down, get everything down, build your following, which is huge. And then, yeah, just like go off on that. But where you said like comparison is a thief of joy, like it's so true. You look at like all these kids like nowadays, especially like young women, for example, like they're looking at like the perfect body. It's like these Victoria's Secret models are like, sure, you can look like that, but when you look like that, are you genuinely gonna be happy? And
that's the thing, right? And it's even with, especially with physique stuff, right? Because I mean, you get into the gym to try to better yourself. Yeah. That's the whole point. It's the only reason that we're all there. And that could be physically, mentally, like, I mean, mentally.
We're all there.
Of course. But like, you do that to try to better yourself. So when you start comparing like, if I compare my physique to like Chris Bumstead's and I'm like, oh man, I want to look like that guy. And then I'm just going to get down on myself that I don't.
Oh, for sure.
Meanwhile, it's like, I'm in good shape.
Yeah.
Other people will probably look at me and go, oh, man, that guy's a big dude. He's in good shape, whatever. Same with yourself.
Yeah.
We don't see ourselves like that because I'm comparing myself to like 6-time Mr. Olympia Chris Bumstead, which again is so unrealistic, but you don't realize how good it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Because
somebody else, again, will look at you and think what we're thinking about somebody else. And that's kind of that mindset you have to take, where it's like, you're your own person. How you look, if you can look yourself in the mirror and be satisfied with what it is you're looking at, whether it's physique or your job performance or things like that, that's all you need.
Yeah. It's a self-gratification that really like pushes you to the next level, right?
100%.
And like you said too, like with the gym, like you're going to the gym, everyone there is working out.
Yep.
So like everyone's either at the best of their level or they're like working towards like a certain thing. All you're seeing when you're comparing yourself to people in the gym are the people in the gym.
Yep.
You go and walk like around Canada's Wonderland, even if you think like you're out of shape, you don't look good, you walk around Canada's Wonderland, I bet you look better than 90% of people there.
100%. I say that about Walmart.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if I'm having like a bad physique day for whatever, bad body image stuff or whatever, and they said, and you go to a place like Walmart where, yes, I mean, there might be some people in there that do take care of themselves, other people that don't.
Yeah.
But you're comparing yourself to like the 1%.
Yeah.
And that's so unrealistic. And that's how a lot of people get away from their goals or get away from how they lose that motivation.
Yeah.
Discipline's great, but if all you have is that motivation and you're comparing yourself to people who've been doing this for years, do it as a career, you're going to fall off faster than you started.
And I think there's a spectrum too about like these people that you see, whether they're like Victoria's Secret models or they're like morbidly bigger. There's a spectrum of like happiness too.
Of course.
Like you think people like walking around, they can eat whatever they want, like whatever, like they probably aren't happy with themselves. They just don't know how to either get started or they just don't think they can do it.
100%.
But then start. Yeah. But then like the women that like these younger girls look up to, like starving themselves, because like there's so many clips, there's so many like videos about like what these Victoria's Secret models in general have to like put themselves through to get there. Like I've cut my calories down like that low before, and like I'm miserable. 100%. Like you look at me the wrong way, and I'm just like,
it's over.
It's not good.
Yeah,
so
it's a pit bull.
I don't think a lot of people like understand that side of it either.
No, of course.
Like, they just see like that's what everyone loves, but in reality, like I don't look for someone like that. Like either whether it's like a friendship or like a partner.
Yeah.
Like I'm not looking for like the best physique, because like that changes.
Yeah, and also like it's to some people that might be like the be all and the end all. You're not looking for that.
No.
It's great if you're in good shape, but if you like suck as a person, I don't care how
terrible.
Good you are. I don't care how good you are. If you suck as a person, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I've met some great people who never been to the gym in their life.
Of course.
But I've met some people who go to the gym every single day, and it's like talking to a cardboard wall.
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah, they're 100%. Terrible. They can't make conversation, can't do anything, just brutal.
Yeah,
So
and that's the thing too. Even tying back into the comparison stuff, where it's like you're saying with Victoria's Secret models, same with these bodybuilders and stuff like that, where it's like you see them on stage and they're going through the dehydration and
yeah,
here's your like one rice cake for the day, like
yeah,
just super unrealistic stuff. But that's because that's their job.
yeah.
That is what they're doing. They're going to do whatever it takes to look that way.
Mm-hmm.
You're not Mr. Olympia.
No.
And like we go to the gym, we try to get in shape, try to better your mental health.
Yeah.
You're not going to look like that.
No.
You have to be realistic. It's not going to happen because that's not your goal.
No.
You might like in your head go, oh man, I want to look like that guy, but you're not competing at you're not competing at Mr. Olympia or the Arnold Classic or anything like that.
No.
Or you're not doing this crazy runway thing in Milan. Like it's you need to get past that. I understand it's there for motivation.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if I'm having a down day and I want to eat a whole bag of chips and then I see C-Bum on my feed where he's got a kid and he just retired from bodybuilding, but he's still in the gym. It's like, man, I don't have that.
But you're still gonna take another handful of chips.
Yes.
Yeah.
and then I'm not gonna like myself, and then I'm gonna do something about it. But like,
yeah.
But I've done it too, where it's you get into the gym and you're having a great workout and you're feeling yourself, and that's huge too when you're in the gym and you're kind of in your own zone and you're liking what you see, and then you go home and you see something on social media and you're like, oh, man, no, I look like shit.
Yeah. Well, like let's get into that too. Like we always talk about like women and like comparison like Victoria's Secret models, but like there is this thing that came out like body dysmorphia in males has like drastically shot up.
Oh my, is
like,
it ever?
And it's like people compare, like they say like, oh, I have body dysmorphia, whatever, and like a lot of people just brush it off, especially with males, because they're like, no, like what do you have to worry about? Like you look great, but it's like every person you're talking to is like comparing themselves to someone,
of course,
and everyone like compares themselves to a different person. Like if I could look like Cristiano Ronaldo, man,
buddy, 100%.
Yeah,
the only thing I got going for me in terms of C-Bum is the mustache. Like
it works. You guys,
long brothers. He did say it was nice.
Yeah, well, you got that in your back pocket.
100%. But and that's the thing. Body dysmorphia is so massive in the fitness community.
Yeah.
I can't speak on other communities. I'm sure like there are other areas of the world where body dysmorphia is tied in. But I mean, like the fitness industry is what I know.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. Like I go through it all the time, right? Where it's like I'll have a good check-in, or I think I'm looking good, or whatever the case is. You catch that glimpse in the mirror, with the perfect lighting. You're like, oh man, what's up? And then again, you start looking at somebody else, and it's like, oh man, his arms are bigger than mine. Or even at the gym, where there's that one dude.
Oh yeah,
like
you like look at him, you're just like,
yeah, wow. And now I want to go home because I don't look like that. But like, you can't do that. Yeah. And we say it as a joking matter. We still do our workout and stuff. But I mean, like, but you look at somebody like that, and it's like, man, why am I even trying?
Oh, 100%.
Like even my coach, like that guy he's 330 pounds.
That's crazy.
And he's shredded.
That's a big boy.
And like when I met him, I'm like, dude, like have I ever worked out in my life?
Yeah.
But like you can't but that's his thing. He's an IFBB pro and he's a full-time coach, and like that is what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what he's doing, and like that's because like everyone has like work, everyone has school, like people have like different things. Like you can't be in the gym for like 6 hours a day.
No,
you can't be cooking these like gourmet meals that the influencers are like making, like
or hiring a chef to do that, or I mean, even in our case with content creation, it's like content creation takes a bunch of time. These people have editors, and like
and
all of that stuff. So it's
top of the line supplements, top of the line everything,
top of the line supplements.
Yeah, and that's where it gets into like the whole comparing yourself thing, right? Like the whole like supplements. That, like,
and I'm sure even people, and again, and that's like kind of the whole point of competition is you're comparing yourself to other people. But even people that are in that position are comparing themselves to other people on stage.
Yeah,
they're still going through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even just somebody like you and me, where it's like, oh yeah, I got body dysmorphia because that guy's arms are bigger. Yeah. Like these like everybody has that.
Yeah, because
you're constantly comparing yourself to somebody else.
For sure. Yeah. What was your like main motivation then? So like you said, like you played sports your whole life, and like you just kind of like felt shitty about yourself, and it's like, was that your main motivation to start going to the gym, or was it like something like deeper?
Well, I think it started off as like just I hated how I looked.
Yeah.
I hated not having a routine anymore, and like I still like the competition aspect, and like when you get to a certain age, like pee-wee hockey doesn't work anymore. If you didn't go pro in something or semi-pro in something, like it's not going to happen.
Knee injury,
or knee injury, or shoulder injury. Pick one.
Any kind of injury.
100%. But like I think it started at that.
Yeah.
And then over the course of I guess the last couple of years, you kind of start, and I guess I didn't know it then. But it's that depression, that anxiety, and stuff like that just that hits everybody. I mean, like depression's not picky. It doesn't matter if you're at the top of the world or you're sitting on a street corner somewhere. Like depression will get you.
Yep.
And I think that was huge too, where it's like I couldn't shut my brain off.
Yeah.
You know, whether I was at work or at home or with my family, where it's like, you know, you're trying to engage in stuff and you're trying to distract yourself, but like there's so much stuff going on that you have to be a part of.
For sure.
So it's kind of tough, and like you start to notice, maybe actually you might not even notice it. It's usually somebody else who notices these issues in you.
Yeah.
Because you just think it's status quo, it's whatever. Yeah, I feel like shit today, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But like I said, when like, you know, my family would know, it's like, hey man, like you're off lately. What's going on and stuff like that, right? And like, I found that like something like the gym was so good because I could just there's so many tangible things in the gym for you to focus on, without actually like expressing anything.
For sure. Yeah.
Like I find like, I mean, you can be having a great conversation with your significant other or your family or whatever, but like it's that external dump that you just don't want to do.
It's like a weird thing. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it.
It is really hard to explain, but it's like, and I say that like I don't go to like the world's busiest gym in the city and there's like 200 people in there and you're trying to get a workout in, but like I just found between, you know, putting your headphones on, listening to the melody, listen to the lyrics. You know, more often than not, you're probably throwing around some weight that might kill you if you drop it on you the wrong way. Focusing on your form, focus on how your muscles feeling, the pump, the whatever, right? There's just so many external distractions that end up becoming internal because it's that self-check that you're doing all the time, right? You know, like I said, your form, the squeeze, the whatever, 100%. Right? And I just found that like it didn't seem to matter what I was doing that day. And I was going through some shit. Yeah. And but I would go to the gym.
We'll get into that in another episode.
Yeah, we will get into that. But I could be having like a terrible day, and I go to the gym, and it just
changes you.
I don't want to say it went away because it doesn't just go away.
I'd say it's like a mental dump.
100%. And again, you're exerting yourself without, I don't know, like vocalizing it, like getting that overstimulation. And I think that's what made me have that deeper love for the gym because I realized how good it was for me. And that's why like I train so early in the morning. I know people go like, you know, when it works for them, you know, with your work schedule and stuff like that. But I find if I go first thing in the morning, anything else that happens during the course of my day, I can almost handle better. Which sounds really ridiculous.
No, I get that.
But like I get up and I mean, there's days where you don't want to get out of bed. You feel like crap. You had night terrors. You had, you know, that depression wave that just feels like you should be sinking in your pick one, right? But like I go to the gym first thing in the morning, and again for that 2 hours, it could, like I said, it could be the busiest gym day in the world. It could be a crappy workout, whatever the case is. But I'm in there, and that worry, that stress. I don't even think about it.
It all goes away.
And it might not be the same for everybody, but I know in my case, and I'm sure in your case too, where it's like I go in there and it's quiet. Which is the weirdest thing to describe the gym as, because that place is a zoo sometimes.
It's terrible.
But I really fell in love with that. Obviously, you know, like the bodybuilding aspect is great. You know, you're bigger this, bigger that, you're leaning out, whatever the case is. But like it's that mental clarity. And you can have anything going on. You know, deadlines or financial stress. Like we started on that. But a bunch of that other stuff. But you just go in there, and for that 2 hours or 45 minutes, however long you work out for, it's not even on the back burner. Like I don't even think about it.
No, 100%.
And I could be having a terrible day.
And that's exactly why I used to go at 5:30 in the morning every day. So I'd like literally wake up, go right to the gym. It didn't matter what happened after that. My mind was clear. For sure. Like I could just I know I started my day off good. And the start of my day off with something I can control.
That's the big thing too.
And sometimes you wake up and you're like, I don't really want to go, especially at 5:30 in the morning. But then you put yourself in that situation with this could be the best thing that happens today. As terrible as it sounds.
Woohoo.
But it just clears your whole mind, and that's the routine I was getting in for so long. And now with going back to school, I allow myself to sleep in a little bit more. For sure. Just, I'm 5:30 is kind of a crazy time to go.
But again, tying back into that discipline aspect, right? Where it's you still have to go regardless of the circumstances, and it's and even when we're at work and things like that, I get that hour and a half lunch, and it doesn't matter if I could have went to some of the crappiest calls or. Stuff's just piling up. I got a bunch of notes to do after my lunch. But again, for that little bit, it's just that mental reprieve that I know when I come back, I feel refreshed, a little bit more clarity, because again, I'm not just spinning my tires.
For sure.
Because I find that if things are happening, that are causing me again that super low, or the anxiety or the PTSD starts kicking in. So, oh my God. Yeah.
Here we go again.
Here it comes. Yeah, it's the merry-go-round. So, but it's just that I find that I'm able to attack that better.
Yeah.
Obviously in a more healthy way than just, like my lows, I'm sitting on my couch, eating like a bag of shit, watching just trash TV, don't care about myself. And then like hours later, I feel like hell. I feel worse than I did because of what I did.
Yeah.
But in the case of like when I go to the gym, again, I love the whole process of the gym. All that stuff is fantastic, but it's that mental reprieve.
Yeah.
Where you're just taking that weight off for a bit. You're focusing on another weight.
Yep.
And then you can attack things a little bit better.
For sure. And I think that's why I started at the gym, like more like continuously, or like definitely whatever. In high school, I used to get bullied a lot just for like my weight. Cause like, when you're like in high school, you're either like super skinny or like super fat. Like,
there's really nothing in between.
There's nothing in between. I was like one of the fat kids, but like I held it well because like 6'3".
True.
Just blessed. But like all my friends, they were like hockey players. They were like star athletes and everything, and they all like had their six packs.
Of course.
Which, I mean, looking back now,
I get it.
Yeah.
It's that time and place construct, right? Where you look back and you're like, dude, really?
Yeah. So like that was like one of the biggest things for me, like for starting out at the gym. Like it gave me a place, even if I didn't know what I was doing for like majority of the time when I started, it gave me a place to like just kind of push everything away.
Yep.
And like when I started, I used to go at like 10 p.m. Because like no one was there.
Yeah.
I could just do my thing.
For sure.
No one would judge me. And it was just like, it was bliss.
Of
like
course.
It was just perfect. And now I'm just like walking in, I know what I'm doing, but I'll walk in and like look like I know what I'm doing. I'll have like, if I'm working out by myself, I'll have my headphones on. I do not look approachable at all.
No, you don't look approachable.
Yeah, you do. But like if anyone's struggling at the gym, like I'll be the first one to help.
100%.
And like I think that comes back to like where I came from with the gym.
Yep.
Like you see all these like ego people, like half shirtless, like whatever they're, and just like,
we're not naming names, but you know who you are.
Yeah. You know exactly who you are. And you talk to them and they'll just brush you off. Like you have a question and like they'll just brush you off completely. If anyone's watching this and like they go to our gym, like if you ask me or Ty, like come ask us.
Like again, even today we had that guy come up to us where he's like a middle-aged dude, guy's in killer shape. And he comes up to us like, oh man, you guys make me want to work out harder. And it's like, what do you mean, man?
Yeah.
Like, but it's cool because we may not look approachable, and I get it because like I said, we always get the hood on, the headphones on, and there's a pretty good chance we saw God at least 3 times during the workout.
It's all for the content.
100%. Really. It's all for the content. It's all BS. We actually just we do cables all day. But like, I am more than happy to help people. Yeah. Because I've been that person too, where it's like, yeah, I get it. I played the football and did some weight training and stuff, but I'm with like a group of people.
Yeah.
Even when I was at university and you have like your team workouts, your offense defense workouts, you're always in there with somebody else, people and you have your own isolated gym.
Yeah.
I remember when I was first getting into it, like really getting into it, was at university, and this is a massive gym. And again, you walk in, you have no idea what the hell you're doing, probably.
Yeah, most likely.
Again, you're comparing yourself to other people in there that are doing this, like all this way. I remember I walked in the very first day I walked into the gym at university, and there was this guy in there, and he was just a mammoth.
Really?
And he was deadlifting like 4 plates, 5 plates, and I'm going like, brother, I don't belong here.
No, 100%.
And it gives you this crazy anxiety, like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And like, I look back now and it's like, come on, man. Like, no one's actually thinking that. No. Nobody actually cares what you're doing in there.
Definitely not.
As long as you look like you know what you're doing. Because there have always been a couple times where it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
And it's happened. It has happened. It's like, oh, this is why everything at Fit for Less is broken. Yeah, I got it. Okay, cool. That's a shoulder press. That's I don't know why your legs are on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have that unsure feeling.
Yeah.
The first couple times you go to the gym. I mean, you might even have it like even when I switched gyms. When I first started going to the St. Catharines location, even being in the gym as long as I have been, you get that anxiety because you're just like, sure. It's like, well, everybody at this location, they know me and whatever. And I'm going to this brand new jungle. Yeah. And you go right back into that comparison, and then you're concerned about what people are thinking of you, where in reality, I promise you, nobody cares.
No, 100%.
I couldn't give 2 shits. If you're in there, I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. If you're going for a walk down your street, I don't care like what you're doing. Like, I'm proud of you for making those changes.
And I make those jokes to myself while I'm like, driving
Yeah.
a block and a half to 7-Eleven.
Like
And I see
right
people
around
out
the
for a
corner
run, and I'm
here,
going,
yeah.
you know what? Good for you.
Yeah, it's like
Good for
you're
you.
a better person than I am.
100%. And I don't know their story.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I don't even care what they look like. You're out doing that. There's this dude that walks around my neighborhood, and he's a bigger dude.
Yep.
And he walks. I don't know where he lives, but this dude walks everywhere.
Really?
And I've seen him for like 2 years, and I can actually physically see him shrinking.
That's crazy.
And I'm like so proud of the guy. I've never actually
Yeah,
talked to him, but I'm just looking at him going, you know what? Like, I bet you he probably has some gym anxiety
Oh,
because
for
again,
sure.
just because of the way he looks. Because
Yeah.
it's just like, oh man, I'm going to go in there, people are going to think I'm an idiot, whatever the case is. Or even if they said you're skinny or whatever the case.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you're doing something to better yourself, and I'm proud of you.
Oh, for
I couldn't do that, man. I don't like walking anywhere.
No.
Cardio's my least favorite thing in the world. You make me do it every day.
Yeah, 30 minutes a day. 6 incline, 3 speed. That's what we do every single day.
No, thank you.
I think that's where like self-esteem comes in too,
Mhm.
with like the gym and like ego lifting, for example.
Yeah.
Like when I first walked in, like I'd see like people like chest pressing 50s, 60s, whatever it may be. And I'd go in and I'd like want to do it. I'm like, okay, like I'm a bigger guy, like
Mhm.
6'3", I'm like 20 years old.
Mhm.
Like I should be lifting that.
Sure.
I'll go and do it. I'll do like 1 rep. Maybe. That's probably more. Like, let's be real. But like that's when you like want to quit because
sure.
you're like, I can't lift 50s. This guy's like not less than me, but like you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like stature wise. Or he's like younger than you.
Yep.
And that's a big thing too. Like people our age will go into the gym like being 28 and 30.
Mhm.
30?
Yes.
Oh, gross.
And I got the ID to prove it.
People go in at like 28 and 30, even like 50, 60, and they'll like see these younger kids like throwing weight around, but like everyone's different too.
Mhm.
And like that's the biggest thing like you got to realize when you go in there, like no, and goes back to like no one cares.
Yep.
And if you do care what someone else is doing at the gym, you don't belong.
No, you're an asshole.
Yeah. Like just straight up, like
You suck.
just don't belong there.
You suck. I hope you don't get anything for Christmas.
Yeah. And I've seen kids like walk around and like I used to not ego lift, but like I used to try to lift as heavy
Yep.
as I want. Ever since I started like training with you and like the past year, I want to say,
Yeah.
I've just been like focusing on like form,
Yep.
squeezing the rep,
Yeah,
whatever.
and I laugh about it too because obviously, say people take a look at me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, you're 230 pounds, you're 6'3", and like I should be throwing everything in that gym around.
Yeah.
I don't think I've picked anything up past the 80s
No.
in forever,
No.
and that's for like a chest press.
Yeah.
I'll do like 30-pound, 25-pound curls
Yeah.
because
then-
like I get more out of that.
Yeah.
The better squeeze, the better contraction, because it's like I'm telling you, even if you think people care about that weight on that bar and how hard you slam it and how
Well, it's like the thing with like
Nobody cares.
How much can you bench?
I don't care.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
If
Like,
I tried,
yeah.
I would die.
yeah.
People ask it all the time because that's that age old question.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, how much you bench?
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
Like I'll see kids like high school kids, for example, like benching like 2 plates or whatever. I just don't like. I don't care.
No,
Like,
it's like,
I'll go in there and
good
bench
for you.
like,
Yeah.
1 wheel.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm happy. I
Yep.
feel the squeeze. I feel everything. I bet you like these kids are like, their backs are all like,
Oh yeah, just janked, and
contorted
they're gonna have shoulder
like,
problems
yeah.
like I do. But even like,
So
and I laugh at it from like that external perspective where like the end of our workout today,
yeah,
where we're doing that drop set and we're curling 15 pounds. I bet you like there were probably some kids that walked in there that like at the ego lifter concept that look at that going, I thought you guys were in 15s. I'm like, well, one, you have no idea what I just put myself through.
or you see us on the 50th rep. 'Cause
Yes.
we hit 50 reps. And they'll be like, they'll see us on like the 45th, and they'll be like, he's struggling like
to lift
doing
15 pounds.
15. So
Yeah.
like, you just never know anyone's story. You never know what someone's doing at the gym. You just never know anything.
And that's that reverse of the comparison
Yeah,
where you start reflecting on other people.
yeah,
And again, in a negative way.
Mhm.
And I'm sure I had that mindset at some point too when you first get into the gym, especially when you're lifting big weights.
Yeah.
Like when I first got into the gym, that was my only concern. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to squat as much as I can, deadlift as much as I can, bench as much as I can. And anybody who benches less than me is inferior and you should be paying for my membership.
uh-huh.
And it was a terrible mindset because then I look now and it's like, again, I see somebody like that. There's that dude in the corner that's squatting 4 plates.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do a workout. I'm like, dude, this guy is an animal.
He's an
That is
animal.
good for him. And it was great form. And I'm like, I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell that guy is. But it's so reversed.
Yeah.
But whereas, like I said, some people will still go in there and they'll look. It's like somebody who's in the gym for the first time and like they might not be doing something right or close to or not a lot of weight. And like people will take that like, oh, look at this fucking loser.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they doing? You're not even trying.
And
Like,
it's
what are you
sad,
doing, right?
man. It's sad.
It is, and it makes me upset because it's like we might not be there for the same reason.
Yeah.
Again, some people you go to better your cardio, to get in better shape, to not want to do bad things to yourself.
Amen.
but we're all going there to better ourselves in some way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that outlook that I have on the gym now, outside of like my own stuff and the reason that I go.
Yeah.
You don't go to the gym just for fun.
No.
Like, I mean, you can, but like people are there for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, they could be older and just trying to, you know, they're trying to get off their heart medication, or like, again, job related stuff. Like or a place to just get away from the kids for an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
and I used to know people who, they were older and they went to the gym in the winter mostly because they didn't want to walk outside.
Sure.
So they would just simply go to the gym, go on a treadmill for like half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever it may be, and go home.
And that's the thing. It's like, and again, you also can't compare, or at least look negatively at what people are doing in the gym. Because again, I mean, you see somebody on the treadmill, they're walking at 1 mile an hour, 0 incline, barely moving. But you know what? You're in there.
Could have had a torn ACL.
Who knows?
Like, you just never know.
Who knows? And like, again, and I used to be that person. Don't get me wrong, where it's like,
we've all been there.
You have that stupid mindset, that egotistical, you're a jackass mindset, where again, you think you're king of the world, and you judge people.
Yeah.
And I know there's some people that still do that because they haven't had that moment of self-reflection. And like I said, I'll look at people at the gym, and again, I'm happy that you're there. And I'm more than happy to help. Like, I mean, if you're doing something a little wonky or whatever, like, hey man, give this a shot. You know, like, no problem.
Yeah.
Or like I said, or if people ask, I'd be happy to help you, because again, we're all here for at least the baseline same reason. We're all just trying to better ourselves.
Yeah.
And I got no problem helping you out.
And I think like that's what we're going to touch on like the most with like this podcast is like, everyone deals with things like physically, everyone deals with things mentally, and like the things mentally, that's kind of what we want to address the most.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there isn't really outlets for people to do that. Like,
not healthy ones, anyways.
No. And you can like post on social media all you want, like a cry for help, or post that you're sad or something. Someone will like say like, "Oh, I'm here for you."
Are you
they
really
here for you?
100%.
And like, I think that's the hardest part too. And like, that's when we like get a bunch of people on that we're going to try to get on to like talk about their stories. Because like a lot of people don't have that outlet. I know I don't have that outlet personally.
Fair enough.
And that's why I wanted to do this with you. Just so like I could tell like my story, kind of what happened to me, because Lord
You're
knows.
Still here.
Lord knows. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. And there's been times where like it's been tough.
Yep.
And it's been tough. And I think the one saving grace has been the gym for me.
And I'll die on that hill until I actually die on that hill, that like the gym saved my life.
Yeah.
And it sounds so stupid, because all it is a $10 a month membership to lift some fucking rubber,
yeah.
like, or metal if you go to an actual cool gym.
Yeah.
But it did, because there are just so many things that I was able to get out of my system that, even reflecting on it now, I mean, therapy's great, medication's great, taking time for yourself is great, but like nothing can replace that feeling at the gym.
No.
Of just, like I said, that clarity, that ability to build some semblance of other things in your life. Again, like your discipline, your motivation, your resiliency, your structure, things like that. Like things that are super easily applied in the gym, whether it's a workout program or a cardio program that you can apply to other aspects of your life.
But you could also like say too, like, yeah, we both go to therapy.
Yep.
Like you unload everything in therapy, and like you have like all these tools for like self-improvement, blah, blah, blah. The biggest self-improvement you can do is your body.
Yep.
Because like you're in it.
Yep.
And like I know for me personally, when I have like bad body image days, I know my days are just like
100%.
downhill.
Yep.
And like that's like the self-improvement aspect of everything. And like that's where the gym comes into play with like mental health.
Yep.
Because if you're having a bad mental health day, go to the gym, go for a walk.
Yeah.
It's like proven, like get your serotonin in. Doesn't matter how you do it,
Yeah,
healthy.
Just healthy.
But like get some dopamine in you, whether it's like,
and it can be anything. And obviously like our focus is going to be the gym, because again, like although we don't have outlets per se, or didn't have outlets, that's just that one thing that I know has worked for me. And I know based on, again, what you see on social media, at least like the raw stuff.
Yeah.
Not this bullshit, oh my God, I have this great life. That's not real.
Yeah.
No one's life is perfect. I don't care who you are. And I think that's why I resonate so hard with, again, somebody like C-Bum.
Yeah.
Where it's, you have the greatest physique on planet Earth.
Yeah.
You've got a beautiful wife, a beautiful kid. You've got all of these partnerships, your own products, and all this stuff. And even he has come out and went like, dude, I'm going through it.
Yeah. There was a podcast with, I forget what his name is.
Yeah, but I think I've seen the clips.
I think it's like the Mindset Motivator or something like that. I think it's something like that. And the things that he's been through too. just like crazy.
Even like leading up to the Olympia, where it's like, whether it's injuries, because he's had a couple too, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna be able to step on stage on my quad, my hamstring, whatever the hell it was. And even just, again, in his case, just living up to those expectations.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm glad he got it when he did, though.
Like 100%. I mean, he'd be the family man and focus on his business and stuff like that, because I just don't think, based on how open he has been with what he's going through, I don't know how much longer he could have been able to do that.
Definitely not.
Especially, again, because you're pushing your body to its limit.
And you got to think, too, like, now you have a daughter.
Yep.
Like, now, like, you've got it all for it. Like, he hung it up at a good time.
100%. And unfortunately, again, a lot of people don't do that. And that could be with anything, even career stuff, just working and working because you got money stress. You can never have enough money or supporting your family and stuff. And obviously those are like good things, like this family support stuff, but like that's how you burn out.
Oh, I've had a lot of people that I worked with, for example, like they'd be there every single day, crushing all the time. They would like say their paychecks are like X amount of money. And I'm like,
yeah, but how often have you seen your wife?
Yeah, you're here literally every single day. Like, how good is that money going?
Of course, and I know guys like that too. And like, I'm a coach officer, so I tell all of the younger officers that too, because some of them do come from other careers.
Yeah,
like I took a pay cut when I started in law enforcement. My brother did too,
for sure.
And you kind of want to get back to that because that was that comfortability, right? But like, you have to understand that there is so much more to life than just, again, working like a son of a bitch. And I know guys, again, that were on not even working on my shift, but they may as well have been, because that's how often they ran on overtime. And it's crazy. Like, you have no life outside of that because that is all you're focusing on, and that's not like a healthy outlet.
No,
like, because you said you're going to burn out, you're going to crash out, you're going to, especially in law enforcement, you're going to see too much.
You're going to see some shit.
You're going to see too much.
Yeah, 100%.
And you have that emotional overload, or that and you just, there's going to come to a point where your dam breaks.
Yeah.
And again, that could be with anything, but I mean, especially work stuff where it's like, don't get me wrong, I've always been money stressed.
Yeah.
You can never have enough.
No.
I get by, no problem. I mean, I do what I want to do and stuff like that, but there are some times where it's like, oh man, I want to pick up some overtime, but it's like, but I'm tired. I just, the last call that I went to that night was like horrible, but now I'm going back in to do it all over again. And like, you get that nasty burnout.
And you got to give yourself some grace too, in that sense. Like,
of course.
Yeah, and they always say like money can't buy happiness, and like I agree with that. And like you have like all the people who are like entrepreneurs, or like they're just so money driven and whatever. I just don't see how like that X amount of money, like sure, it would help with like being like no money stress, no financial stress, like getting to do whatever you want.
Yeah, but what kind of like other life do you have?
Yeah.
Like most of these people, again, that's why I think they're probably those big time entrepreneurs keep going through. You go through divorces, you go through, bad shit in the news, or they're, blowing up in public. And it's like, well, why is that? It's like, because their entire life has been fixated on one thing that's not healthy.
And everything, like when you have that kind of money too, is expendable. Like,
of course,
your partner, for example, like someone leaves you, you just get someone else.
100%, because you got all this money.
Yeah, your house burns down, like
just build another one.
Whatever, just buy another one. Car breaks down, just buy another one.
No problem. Yeah, I'm not taking it to the shop. I'm just going to buy a new one.
And that's like where, like, I basically got taught, God bless my parents, from a young age, to like work for everything you got. Like, I'd have my friends like getting like iPhones for Christmas, bunch of shit.
Dude, I had my first cell phone until like 16.
Same. Yeah, no.
And it was a flip phone.
And it's probably for the best.
100%, let's be honest.
And like, yeah, I had friends getting like iPhones, but like I would get like something way less than that. And like, I would compare myself to my friends all the time when they ask like, what do you get for Christmas? I'm
same
like,
concept. Man. I'm like, it's the same sort of shit.
And like, sometimes I'd lie too. I'm like, yeah, I got this, this, and this, but I also got this. And I was like, to make yourself look like cool or whatever.
Yeah. And then like, even like transversely, like you don't realize again how, like my parent, like I don't come from money. My parents worked their fucking hands to the bone.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize that, like, again, how stressful it must have been for them.
Yeah.
To just give you something like that.
Yeah.
And again, it could be, at that time, you're almost maybe disappointed. It's like, oh, my friend got, a brand new Xbox. It's like, oh, I got an N64 that was used. Like, but at the same time, it's like, you can't do that comparison shit.
And I think as you get older too, like with anything in life, you start to realize like what your parents gave you, that might have been all they had.
Of course.
And like I said, thank God for my parents every single day. Like, it's just the things that they sacrificed for me and my brother. Like, I know growing up, like I definitely didn't take enough like I didn't look into it as much. And,
no,
like,
of course, and you don't, right? And I said, looking back to, I mean, again, I thank God for my parents, because it's the same sort of shit where it's like, they were working opposite shifts.
Yeah.
My mom worked the graveyard shift all the time, and like my dad working days and like Monday to Friday. And my mom would also work Saturday, Sundays. Even when my dad was off, my mom was still working. Yeah. but it was just so that we would always have somebody there.
Yeah.
And like, and even then, like with the amount that my family was working, like my dad never missed a sporting event.
Yeah.
I never felt less like a child. Like we always did stuff, and like,
which is awesome.
And it's great. And I think that's why maybe I'm like a little more frugal when I go places now, because it's like I got used to that. It's fun. Like it's stuff that I like to do, but you don't realize. I mean, you think it costs money now.
Yeah.
I'm like, you get my parents. I mean, again, they're not making all this crazy money, but they're still trying to do that for their kids.
Yeah.
And I think that comes back full circle with, you never know what people are going through unless you're them.
Yeah. And I think like it's not hard to be a good person.
It's really not.
Like like when I say I'm there for someone, like genuinely, like anytime, like DM me. Like I might be sleeping, but like I'll answer you right.
I will answer when I can.
Like when I can, or like, but I'll never ignore someone or just be like, everything's gonna be fine.
Of course, like, and also with what you and I are going through, where it's like we got our own shit.
Yeah.
But I'm like, even with this stuff, the podcast or the TikToks or helping people out in the gym, it's like I'm going through all this shit almost so that you don't have to.
Yeah.
Because you got to get to a lot of this stuff early.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like you got to get to it early. Because I know from my point of view, for example, I was working like 5 years and just like consistently burning out before my ex at the time. She was like, you're not yourself. Like you come home and you're just like a shell of who you are.
For sure.
And it was in that moment where everything just kind of like switched for me, and like I really looked at like my life and what was impacting it, and it was ultimately work. And as I dove deep into it, like I said, we'll get into it in another episode. I knew I had to make a change.
For sure.
And I knew that wasn't, as good as the money was, I knew that wasn't for me.
No, and of course, then in my case with my like that smack dab realization is that I didn't realize that I was depressed when I was depressed. Like I had a great upbringing, again, like I mentioned, like great set of parents, and you know, I wasn't a bad kid. I was a great student, like no issues at all. But I reflecting on it now, I realized that I was depressed, but I never internalized that. It was just one of those things where it's like, oh, it's got to be something else going on in my life. And that just kind of started to stack those chips. And again, I know I'll get into it when I dive into my story about how I handle things the way that I do and how unhealthy it is or was. But it was just like, you know, bad calls pile up and you just kind of throw them on the back burner. It's like, oh, it's whatever. Or like, you know, you have shit happen in your life with your family or your significant other. And it's like, no, it's fine. You just piggyback. And then like that one thing will happen. And it doesn't have to be the first thing. It can be the 150th thing. I look at it like a glass of water, where it's like you can fill that damn cup up as much as you want, and eventually it's gonna start overflowing. And it's not going to stop overflowing. And that's what's going to happen. So that was my moment where it hit me square in the face, and I tried to back burner it, and then everybody started to notice what was up. People at work are like, dude, like, I'm angry all the time, and you know, I seem like I'm checked out at home. You know, like my parents are just like, hey, like, you know, what happened? And that was the worst part. I think that's what broke me too, was just what happened to Ty. And I'm like, you know, you hear that from like your buddies or whatever. You're like, man, fuck you, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Well, like when my mother asked me that, that's one of those, like, it hits you square in the mouth, and you're like, damn, you know what? You're right. And it was that series of things that just built up and built up and built up. And then when somebody that gives enough of a shit about you says that, especially, and it could be anybody.
Could be anyone.
My case, it was, like I said, it was my mom, and it was like, damn.
It wakes you up.
And then it seemed like anything, even small, that happened after that, it was like DEFCON 5. It could be like I could, you know, get behind on a call for notes, or like dumb shit. And it capsized.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it was in those moments that I'm like, you know what? Like, one, this is no way to live. Two, this isn't fair to anybody, that like they're giving me the full versions of themselves. I can't give you an inch. I can't give you shit because I don't even know what the hell's going on with me. So it was that checkout moment where it's like that little moment of self-reflection where it's like, no, dude, this isn't you. And it took 8 years to figure that out.
It's the same with me, 7 years. And like, it took that long to figure it all out, but we're where we are now because of it, right?
So and that's the thing. So
speaking of,
oh hey,
Rebellious.
So we are both partnered with Rebellious Archives, Niagara-based company. Do a lot of bodybuilding clothing. They're getting into a running line, but I think obviously there are 10 billion apparel companies.
Yeah.
Whether it's bodybuilding or sports related or whatever, anime, whatever the hell the case is. But I think what hit so hard at home with Rebellious was the message. And it was the message that basically, since I started doing that self-reflection, that I've kind of put out.
Yeah.
Where it's like training your mind to see the good in things.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being so stuck in the shit.
Yeah.
Where you don't think you can get better and nothing's going to change and this is your life now. But you need to almost rewire yourself.
For sure.
To start figuring out that, like, you know what, like, things are going to get better. They are supposed to get better, but I have to do something about it.
And I think that's why I resonated with like Rebellious so much too. And like when I saw you posting your TikToks and posting your stories and everything and just making your content, I wanted to do that because every story that I tell going forward, every TikTok that I post or whatever, like if I can change just one person's life, if they see something and like resonate with me, even in the slightest, it could be like one sentence I say, and if like sparks something in their brain, everything will be worth it for me.
And that's the only reason I started this. Like, I'm not looking to quit my job and be a full-time.
No, I'm not looking to get famous off this.
No,
like
it'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be very cool.
But like that wasn't the whole point. Like my whole thing was, at least initially when I first started making content, was just like, not even to get my whole message out there, but it was a lot of that stuff that I wish that I had saw when I was going through the shit.
Definitely.
Where it's just like, you're not in this alone. Build your village.
Yeah.
You know, do what you have to do for you.
Yeah.
And I think that was that message that I was missing for so long because I just internalized everything.
Yeah.
I held it all in and I'm like, nope, none of this shit matters. And that was the same thing with me too. I started posting because it was like, it's fun to make videos and like, you know, maybe like, again, same sort of thing. Maybe I'll reach somebody. And I think it was like my second or third video and somebody messaged me saying that like 2 days ago they wanted to kill themselves.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
And it was a comment first where it's like, you know, keep posting stuff like this. I was going to do this the other day. I saw your stuff. Like, this is super inspiring. And I'm like, I was so taken aback by that. Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Dude, I mean, I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, well, maybe I'll reach this audience or whatever the case. But like, when I saw that comment and then like I actually like conversed with this person in Messenger, I was floored.
Yeah.
And that gave me every fiber of, I'll call it motivation, to just keep putting that stuff out.
Yeah.
Because again, I mean, 20,000 people watch my videos. If like one person gets something out of that I'm trying to put forward, that's all I need.
And you could post 200 more videos and no one else could reach out or anything, but like that one person.
That one, I promise you, I could post thousands.
Yeah.
I will never forget that because that was my whole point.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That was the whole point.
That's so cool. I'm like, obviously, like, yeah, it goes back to DMs are always open. Like, if you want my number, like,
we'll think about it.
We'll think about it. But like, if you want like, doesn't matter how you contact me.
Yep.
I don't care.
Well, and again, like I said, it's obviously like our TikToks will be linked and the Instagram will be linked, or this page specifically. Like, it's confidential.
Yeah.
We're just like you. Like, we're normal. We're normal people,
guys,
man. Like, we're normal people who like to go to the gym because I'd rather go to the gym than
anything
do bad things. And yeah, it's always open. Like I don't care what time it is. I'll explain to my fiance why some random is DMing me at 2 a.m, and then we'll get past that.
That's what you have to do for me.
Yes. Yeah, you get called my boyfriend frequently now. So, but no, in all seriousness, I think that's the whole thing about us making this platform or our individual platforms is that it's that open space. And I know how corny that sounds.
Yeah.
It sounds like Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
But like a judgment-free zone. But like that's the whole point. Yeah. I'm not looking for gratification. I'm barely even looking for satisfaction. I'm just looking to try to reach people who otherwise wouldn't reach out.
Yeah.
And I'm not a therapist. I'm barely a bodybuilder. I'm barely a human.
I think that's like a good thing too, though, to get that like opinion from someone like who's either been through it or like is going through it currently. Like when I talk about like what I'm going through, like when I talked about it with you for the first time, I liked hearing it from someone who has like the same mindset as me, someone who has like the same, going through the same things as me.
I thought you were going to say the same physique and I would have dropped it.
No, I'm way better. Mine's way better.
100%.
So like just the same things that like I was dealing with, like being off work, PTSD, like that kind of thing. Like me talking about like as like similar as it was different. But like I knew you would be able to connect with me. Whereas a therapist, not always like you don't have that like connection where you're like, you'll talk to them about things, but they don't truly understand. They give you like the textbook answer.
100%. That's like seeking out a professional to do things, right? Where I'm not going to call my buddy up to fix my plumbing if he has no idea about plumbing.
Yeah.
I might talk to him about it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to call a plumber.
100%.
And the same concept goes with mental health stuff, where it's like I'm not saying don't talk to people, because holy fuck,
Please talk to people.
Don't do what we do and talk to people. But like talking to a therapist, again, I get it, the professional concept. I'm kind of contradicting myself. It's great because they specialize in that concept, but actually being able to have that conversation with somebody else who has actually been through it.
It's an emotional connection.
It's trauma bonding.
Yeah. Call it as it is.
Yeah. But like, I just find that to be so much more beneficial, because it's like, I'm not just dumping things out, and then somebody else who hasn't been through that is just telling me ways to help
with it. Yeah.
As opposed to hearing it again, or even in my case, when people, like I said, when they reached out, it's like, we're going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not the same details, same concept, where it's just like, I'm depressed, I got PTSD, I got anxiety, I got whatever the hell it is. And then just seeing, again, just a regular person going through. Because again, it goes back to that whole social media thing where it's like, are people just posting shit for clout?
Yeah.
Are they actually going through shit?
Yeah.
I got nothing to lose, nothing to gain out of this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When we go through our episodes, like, I got nothing to lose talking about my shit. So
100%. I might. Yeah. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, I think that's the whole point of this platform.
Yeah. 100%.
Is that it's an open door.
Yep.
It's an open notebook.
Yep.
Drop by, write what you got to do. It's
let us know.
100%. Like, and that's just it. Just don't hesitate. Yeah. Again, don't do what we did. Where it's like, if you see that and it resonates with you, again, the comments are awesome. Where it's like, oh, great video, great video. I'm like, I like that stuff. But I mean, if you're actually going through the shit, reach out. I don't care if it's to me. I don't care if it's to Dev. I don't care if it's to my dog. Like, just reach out. Yeah. Do not bottle it up. Do not think that you're inferior because you're going through that shit. Because that's what I did.
Yeah.
I'm like, mental health.
And my thing too is like, I didn't want to talk to other people about it because like everyone has their own issues.
For sure.
But you'll get the people who sure have their own issues, but they also want to help.
And I think that's the big thing too, where it's like, you want to try to, I'm not saying project onto somebody, but like let them in a bit.
Yeah.
But you have that whole like, oh my God, are they going to judge me?
Like a conscious
Are they going to think I'm an idiot? Are they going to think I'm fucked? Like whatever. But as opposed to, again, a platform like this, that's the one thing that we don't care about.
Yeah, no.
Reach the fuck out.
Yeah. I don't care who you are, what you do, what your story is. Yeah. Reach out. It's all confidential, and
I got no problem with it. You want to you want to just have a dump first thing in the morning? Go ahead.
Even if you just want to have a conversation, like if you just want to talk to someone, like just.
I'm absolutely here for it.
Yeah.
I don't care. And if I don't answer you, he will. And if he doesn't answer you, I will. Yeah, we both have control over this.
So, yeah. Is there anything else you want to touch on today?
I don't know, man. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah. We'll get into our stories in a couple weeks. And
yeah. Definitely went off the beaten track a couple times there, but I mean, it's the same thing. It's dumping.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to happen. So,
and it's all new, right? Like we're just starting this out, but we just want to like kind of introduce ourselves, tell us where we're coming from, touch on a few topics that we're passionate about. And
let y'all know that we're not full of shit. This is coming live at you.
Yeah. And the TikTok bios just don't say co-host for no reason.
100%. Yeah, that too. I have to update that. I have to update that before he yells at me. So that's it. That's episode 1 of The Weight of Mind.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you whenever
we decide to upload another video.
All right.
Adios.
See ya.